All right, John here again. You know all about my past. I've already talked about that in past episodes. Retired Fort Worth police officer. Last assignment was as the recruiter. For a period, with regard to that, for a period of my career, I had one of the toughest and most misunderstood assignments or jobs within the police department. That was the job of police recruiter. People see the badge, the uniform, the lights, the sirens. Very few people ask, how did this officer get here? Or who decided that this person was the right person, the right fit for this job? In this episode, I want to take you inside my life as a police recruiter. What we were up against, the trips that I took, the officers I helped to select and teach about recruiting, and certainly the battles behind the scenes that took place just to get good people into this profession. If you've ever wondered why departments struggle to hire good people and keep good cops, understanding the recruiter's world is a good place to start. I didn't come into recruiting thinking, I can't wait to be a police recruiter. Like most officers, I came in through patrol, answered calls, worked the streets, and built my career one step or one shift at a time. Over time, I noticed two things. We were struggling to fill positions, and we weren't always attracting the type of applicants who matched the complexity of the work. So when the opportunity came to step into recruiting, I saw it as a bit more than a transfer. I saw it as an opportunity to help shape the future of the department. Who we hired, how we presented ourselves, and how we built professionalism and diversity into the foundation. One of the first things I learned is that recruiting isn't a popularity contest. When you start asking the hard questions about standards, diversity, and process, not everybody is going to be happy with what you're doing. As a recruiter, my office was rarely just a desk. It was airports, train stations, highways, campuses, community centers, anywhere I could find potential candidates. I traveled to local colleges like TCU or Texas Christian University, UTA, the University of Texas at Arlington. But I also traveled to HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, HSIs, Hispanic Service Institutions, and women's universities across the country. I visited bookstores, coffee shops where students were studying, malls where young adults were working and hanging out, and rail stations where people were commuting to class or work. On a typical trip, I might start the morning at a campus career center, spend midday speaking to a criminal justice class, meet with student organizations in the afternoon, and end the day at a community event or an informal meet and greet. What am I going to say here? I wasn't doing this alone. I wasn't. Over time, I had officers that recruited with me and for me. People I trained, coached, and sent out to carry the same message to other communities. Recruiting, so many people don't really look at it the way it should be looked at. It's not about just standing behind the table. That is not what recruiting is about. It's about how to talk to different audiences, veterans, college students, second career professionals, women who have never pictured themselves in uniform much less in this profession. And young people who come from communities that have a complicated history with law enforcement. I had groups of officers that I selected that I thought would be good representatives for our department. Some of these officers were of rank, sergeants and above. I had a few corporals. And so it was funny for me to sit down with them and go over what was required for recruiting, but we were all on the same page. I conveyed to them how to read a room, how to listen more than talk, and how to represent the department in a way that was honest but hopeful. We weren't there to sell a fantasy. We were there to say, hey, this job is hard. It will challenge you. But if you bring integrity, discipline, and empathy, we want you on our side, on our team, representing our department. Now, on paper, my job was simple: find qualified candidates. But in reality, there was a whole other layer: budget constraints, internal politics, and quite a bit of resistance to change. I pushed for a bigger recruitment budget because we weren't going to be able to compete with other departments with what we had. I was being asked to compete on a shoestring budget. I argued for more dedicated recruiters on my team because one person couldn't possibly do the work of a full team, not in a large organization. Every trip, every outreach effort, every new initiative had to be justified, explained, and defended. Sometimes to people who really didn't understand what recruiting required. I heard questions like, why do you need to travel out of state? Can't you just find enough people here? And why the emphasis on diversity? Those questions weren't just logistical questions or questions that centered on logistics. They revealed deeper attitudes about who we felt or who we thought should wear the uniform, and how serious we were about reflecting the diversity of the communities we serve. I like to say that being a recruiter meant that you just weren't finding candidates. You were constantly making the case for why your work mattered. One of the central parts of my work was diversity. Not a buzzword, but as a reality, we needed more women, more female officers, more Hispanic officers, more Black officers, more people from different diverse backgrounds with college, education, and life experiences. I saw diversity as a civil rights issue and a legitimacy issue. When the people enforcing the law do not resemble, understand, or relate to the communities they serve, trust erodes quickly. That's why I spent time at historically Black colleges and universities, Hispanic service institutions, and women's universities, speaking to students who rarely saw their faces represented in the uniform. I made it clear that we weren't just looking for numbers. We were looking for talent, leadership, potential future leaders, and people who could help change the culture of law enforcement from within. Recruiting isn't just data and travel. schedules. It's emotional. You meet people who desperately want to serve, but they've got barriers in their past. You meet families who are nervous about their loved ones serving in a career like this one. You meet students who ask honest, difficult questions about use of force, race, and misconduct. As a recruiter, you can't ignore these emotions. You have to face them head on, answer truthfully, and still inspire people who are right for this profession to step forward. I remember conversations where someone would say, I want to be a police officer, but I'm not sure that my community will support me. Or, I'm interested, but I've seen too much on the news. I understood that my job wasn't to dismiss those concerns. It was to say, if you're willing to be a part of the solution, we need you, precisely because you see the problems. Looking back, my role as a police recruiter, it really taught me more about this profession than almost any other assignment I had in the police department. I learned that you can't fix staffing problems with posters alone or a slick video, promotional video either. You need process, strategy, and leadership that understands long-term investment. I also learned that diversity doesn't happen by accident. It happens when agencies intentionally go to the communities that they overlooked and stay there long enough to build trust. Today, as an adjunct professor and I guess you can say content creator, I carry those lessons into the classroom and onto this channel. When I talk about recruitment, it's not theoretical. It's grounded in trips, conversations, audits, budgets, and real people who either joined this profession or walked away from it. In future episodes, we're going to talk about why departments struggle to hire good cops, what the recruitment pipeline really looks like, and how we can build better processes that respect both the profession and the public. If you're a current recruiter, a future officer, or simply someone who cares about who ends up wearing the badge, I'd love to hear your experiences, questions, and comments in the comment section. Because the more we talk honestly about how police officers get here, the better chance we have of improving who gets here.